still coming after me from before? Just keep doing the same combo. Oh, in the head. Dead. Oh, he's not dead from that?
Holy shit.
When you think of a fun challenge run, what comes to mind? Does it encourage outside of the box thinking? Does it force you to get good? Or maybe it makes all that time immersed in cabbage spawn locations actually matter. Now don't worry, I love doing dumb things, but this video doesn't feature any vegetable picking in the West. Mainly because that's for another day. What it does have is a rule set that turns Forbidden West into one of the most intense experiences I've ever played. But some of you may be wondering, Nico, what the actual Balls is a hardcore Nuzlocke? And I'm glad you asked. A Nuzlocke is a type of challenge run that comes from Pokemon games. In essence, it's a set of rules and regulations that turns an experience like Pokemon Emerald from being baby's first video game into Vietnam Simulator. Now there are many different variants of Nuzlocke to choose from, and if you're curious, there's a whole website about them. However, the variant that fits Forbidden West best is the hardcore Nuzlocke. But obviously, Forbidden West isn't a Pokemon game, and for that reason, the rules for this challenge are not so simple. Death now comes at a cost, and that cost is all the gear you died equipped with, which goes into the death box, which should be right here. That thing right there. Yeah. Merchants no longer let you purchase whatever armor or weapons you feel like. Now, Fate, otherwise called Siri, decides on the one weapon and outfit you get to own per merchant. The toolbar doesn't get to participate in combat, so when the alert icon goes red, the toolbar heads to bed. And finally, our experience is no longer just a number on the screen. It's a limit based on the recommended level of the current main quest that will end our existence if we go above it. There are also a couple of extra miscellaneous rules that you don't really need to keep track of, but do play an important role in the challenge run, so here they are. But like in every good Nuzlocke, there's a lose condition. If we die without a full weapon wheel, the Nuzlocke is over. And that brings us to our first death. After conquering the tutorial and procuring every possible advantage we could muster from the Dons, smack in the middle of the embassy, we were caught off guard by an animation bug, ending the momentum of our first attempt in an instant. With all of our options exhausted, 2 warrior bows and arguably the worst outfit to our name, only a fool would continue a run with so little hope of surviving. Because by golly, warrior bows are But even if we somehow pulled through and made it further, there was no shortage of danger out there in the West, which would gladly send me back to the main menu. And going through all that struggle just to be brutally put down didn't seem too worth it. Yet the allure of a story full of trials and tribulations was too powerful. I came into this challenge hoping to have an experience like no other.
It should be enough.
I created this challenge, aiming for a new perspective of Forbidden West. And now, the opportunity to experience the playthrough I was looking for presented itself. There's no way I wasn't going back into that embassy. Plus, I wasn't about to let some buggy, bald, rebellious jit-ass be what ends this run. So, I said my goodbyes to our destroyed gear, equipped the only 2 weapons we still could, and walked into the embassy unready for the challenges ahead.
No! I'm gonna fight Cyber. I'm dying though. Can I eat food? I guess I can't even eat food in combat. Fudge! This is over. The playthrough's over. Almost died. That was dangerous. So I gotta play dangerous. If I let them whittle me down, then I lose. Okay. What the fudge game? Okay, I need to live. I don't have any acid arrows. What can I do here? I don't have anything. Just borrow mine now. Okay, that was good. That was solid. Got me out there. Ooh! I didn't even see that coming. Nice. Nice racks. Up the anus, up the anus, up the anus, up the anus, up the anus. Oh no, fudge you, buddy boy.
See a shield like that? Better stand it. That shield. There, now's my chance. Give it up.
What was that? Oh my gosh, all that damage is so hot.
I'm gonna break that shield. There, now's my chance.
Blowed out your ass, buddy boy. Oh. Holy moly. Oh my gosh, that was so much harder than it needed to be. We had done it. Attempt 1 was still kicking and the embassy was behind us. Let's just hope I don't throw this opportunity away. With access to the Atara lands, the level cap raises, more gear options become available, and new dangers lurk on the horizon. For now, obtaining new weapons is a top priority, because we need to prepare for the next big obstacle, the repair bay. I decided it best to first visit Plainsong and purchase some new gear there. Before heading out, I upgraded my very useful weapons, but that didn't do much to make the journey any less rough. Anyhow, we arrived at Plainsong, and by the grace of Siri, we acquired the Slice and Shredder Gauntlet and the Utaro Harvester outfit as our Plainsong gear. Feeling more confident in my survivability with something more than 2 warrior bows, we began collecting resources and completing quests to reach the level cap. The only close call we encountered on our spiritual retreat was when I paid a visit to the Eclipse base for the Whisper Hunter bow. A nearby random encounter alerted all nearby enemies, making everything much more chaotic.
Are you gonna make this easy?
No. After taking about 25 minutes to clear the immediate area, I successfully acquired the Whisper Hunter bow, and Siri treated me with a lovely sharpshot bow at the Karja camp.
The answer is 3.
You hear that? That is some of the most beautiful words I've ever heard in my entire life! Which she immediately followed up with by picking the lesser of 2 options at the Plainsong hunting grounds. Oh, and I reached level 10 here. But at long last, after losing almost everything at the embassy, I once again had a full loadout and a true second chance at making it to the end. Feeling ready as ever, I entered Letopolis to take on Eric. Okay. Which per usual was a cakewalk. No, literally, I was more worried about drowning. And with that out of the way, I now had 5 more levels to work with for the repair bay. But this got me thinking, what if I gave myself a head start on the next level cap? A 4 to 5 level advantage for the next main quest would be massive for doing the classic head far west and gear the fudge up strat. But it would also give me room to do side quests for excellent weapons and outfits that I don't have access to before the dying lands. With little reason not to take hold of the opportunity, my goal was set in stone and the final leg of preparations commenced. To keep this short, I got Brace Shot using the skill points from a couple of relic runes, and after causing the extinction of numerous animals for the skins, purchased the Nora Sentinel and Utaro Harvester outfits from Barren Light and Plainsong respectively, as well as lost the opportunity for the excellent Frost Hunter bow at the Letopolis Merchant. A few thousand shards of upgrading later, and I was more than ready to take on the repair bay. Going into this place, I wasn't intimidated. I'd never had problems with Tau before, and I wasn't planning on having any now. But after easily taking down the lead lashers, I felt like something was missing. And I wouldn't know what that was until it was too late. Just die, buddy. Still more fight ahead of me. Oh my gosh. I'm so pissed. Strategy. That's what I was missing. I had turned my back on the most important aspect of Nuzlocking. And because of that, I lost everything for the second time. Maybe with the Frost Hunter bow, I could have done more. Maybe with defensive coils, I could have survived the last hit. Or maybe I should have just played better. Despite a devastating loss, I quite literally just kept playing. Not without an appropriate amount of complaining, of course. Why am I so fudging bad?
I was hoping you showed.
Fudge you. After reloading back to Plainsong, I took into account what we still had. One very underpowered last surviving weapon, along with a somewhat decent outfit, and swiftly accepted they were not going to cut it. Looking back on the fight, the turning point began when Varl and Zoe both got down by the other machines. And well, with no one else to target, you know what happened. The remedy to this would be to swiftly dispatch the Plowhorn or alternatively the Apex Scrappers, arguably the most dangerous thing about this fight. But I need a weapon that can actually do that. Unfortunately, I'd exhausted all my potential gear purchases in the Utaro lands, and all the remaining outfits I could obtain were of little use. I did, however, still have one option. The weakest sharpshot bow. A bow that would require me to go to Riverham, survive the onslaughts of ferocious enemies, all with the same crappy half-bow that barely got me through the embassy. If I succeeded, that weak sharpshot bow would give me access to Brace Shot, and a genuine chance of keeping Attempt 1 alive. The alternative? Go back into the repair bay with a half-bow and get my ass kicked. With a glimmer of hope in our sights, and no other options, we journeyed north of Plainsong and began the routes that bind in a last-ditch effort to save the run. And that's what we did. What, did you expect a whole fight scene? We've got way too much video to get through for that. After 20 entire minutes of scrambling for my life, which was easier than I expected thanks to some stealth cheese, we earned ourselves Q's Sharpshot Bow. Now, while I could have gone back to the repair bay after upgrading our Ray of Hope, I was in no position to take any chances, meaning we were going to lose our head start on the Clanlands. But before I could even mourn that loss, we had to get there. If I wanted Tau to be as smooth as possible, I'd need to max out Range Master for Brace Shot. And so began the riskiest Forbidden West grind I've ever grinded. With plenty of close calls and only one life, I overrode a Tallneck, completed the Plainsong trials, defeated a rebel camp, took down Vezra, erased the Eclipse, and decommissioned an outpost before finally maxing out Range Master and reaching level 15, meaning we were ready. Once more, Varl, Zoe, and I entered the repair bay, this time with nothing missing. And after easily dispatching the Leap Lashers for the second time, we arrived at the core. With everything on the line and no other way through, we released the Plowhorn for a second chance.
And I'll get the big guy.
Nice, one down.
Give it a rest.
Okay, I'm alive.
Got a piece of it.
Yeah, you stupid bastard. But the real threat is you. Holy fudging moly. Holy moly. Can't jinx it yet. I don't know what the fudge that guy's doing. This bow is insane. Best early game bow. Much to my surprise, with just a scrawny warrior bow and a surprisingly decent sharpshot bow, we made it to the Clanlands. We've made it. Now, as much as I wanted to celebrate our victory, we had a new problem. Remember that level cap I wanted to get a head start on? Well, I'm about to hit it. Now, according to the rules of the challenge, as long as I start the next main boss fight while at level 17, I'm all good. But managing that was not going to be easy with the amount of preparation I needed to accomplish. For now, I wanted to avoid any potential run-ending danger and experience. So, I rode to the Memorial Grove, picked up a much-needed sharpshot bow, and continued on to Stonecrest. I am 102% a-okay with not fighting that thing. After my arrival, rather than first speaking to Katalo, I stopped by the Hunter Merchant where Siri picked the Hammerburst Bolt Blaster for purchasing, which I unfortunately don't have the parts for. In fact, I don't have the parts for the majority of the weapons out here. Wait a minute, how was I supposed to get the parts I needed without killing any machines? If only there was some sort of merchant that sold that kind of stuff. For a moment there, I was spinning in circles. Literally. But then it hit me. Salvage contractors. I'd used them in a previous challenge run to obtain most of the parts for upgrades without having to fight anything other than scrappers. And so began the second time I did the riskiest Forbidden West grind I ever grinded. Starting from just south of Scalding Spear, I stopped by the settlement in question where Siri picked a second Bolt Blaster. She made sure I could afford it this time. And the Osram Arrow Breaker. This will be the last time that outfit is mentioned. Anyways, I picked up a few useful coils before continuing north until I reached a very familiar encounter. For those of you who don't know, there's a chance for rebels to take down a large machine in certain sites in other places of the map. Taking down the rebels in this encounter rewards you with all sorts of parts, including, if you're lucky, Luminous Brainstem. And well, let's just say I've received more than enough compensation for the pain I'd endured. Another Luminous Brainstem? I didn't know that was a thing. Thought you could only get one. I just got 3 Luminous Brainstem. Wow. After getting a little distracted with the Deluge, I finally arrived at Honda's camp and acquired an experience-free way to purchase additional gear. With 5 of the 6 weapon wheel slots now filled, I took the scenic route down from Stonecrest into Shearside Climb where I stumbled across some really nice coils and visited the Hunting Grounds merchant. Out of the 2 weapons you see on screen, can you guess which one Siri picked? If you guessed a third ducking bolt blaster, you'd be correct. With my sanity on a steep decline, no thanks to all the farming I'd been doing. Skins. We love skin. I love skin. We acquired a completely random Frostgall Circulator, as well as our third and hopefully last Bolt Blaster for a while. A little numb from all the grinding, A little numb from all the grinding, we followed Katalo to the Bulwark, which went pretty smoothly, and got to level 17. Now at the soon-to-be Bulgan, get it? Cause we destroy it? Isn't that funny, guys? Oh my gosh. Came some sudden wardrobe alterations and an Icefire Blastling, a weapon that would be incredible for the upcoming fight. We immediately would have purchased it if Honda actually sold Elemental Claw Shredder Circulators. But that didn't stop me from risking all the weapons I just farmed up for a Blastling by taking on extremely dangerous machines for a part that wasn't even guaranteed. But somehow, I was successful and purchased the Blastling along with finishing up a bunch of upgrades. And for those of you wondering, no, Runda also does not sell the Circulator. Cutting it a tad bit close with the level cap and hoping and praying that if I did complete this quest, I didn't immediately overlevel for the next one, my new team and I finally joined Katalo to take on the Tremor Tusk. Whoa! Okay, relax, buddy. Nice. Oh, that damage. Oh, almost killed me.
All that metal's brittle now.
Alright, we gotta do some cooking, mate. 1,000 damage is hot. Crit. Nice crit. Holy fudge. Nice! Holy fudge! Cook! Unfortunately, that Tremor Tusk is not as cooked as me.
Oh shit, here we go again.
After turning in the Broken Sky quest, my experience came within less than 1000 XP from breaching the next cap, meaning doing anything other than the main quest at this point would certainly overlevel me.
Yo, come on, man, I can't have...
Now forced to head straight for the covert, I was fairly tense since this was certainly going to be the most difficult Oh, and there I go killing the Slitherfang. Yeah, this quest ended up being a cakewalk. But once again, I was forced to continue the main quest because of the level cap and unfortunately got locked into the Cradle of Echoes. I did have a considerably more difficult time against the Spectres, but after taking them both down, we acquired an additional Sobek clone for the base, and I finally had a moment to plan ahead. Alright. I guess we just head over there. The next boss was a
magical Leopolda,
which put Purgewater Defense on my wish list. The only region that still had plenty of outfits and weapons to obtain was the Range Race, since I hadn't actually gone there yet. Our first stop was Lowlands Path, where Siri selected some much appreciated disappointment. Siri, pick a number 1 through 2.
It's 2.
Man, you really don't like me, do you? But she made up for this by picking the excellent Seeker Hunter bow at Fall's Edge and the revolutionary Glow Blast Sharpshot bow at the Range Race hunting grounds. Unfortunately, this weapon requires a Thunderjaw Circulator, something I was not willing to do just yet. No thanks to Siri, I was unable to secure a good Purgewater outfit. I did complete Dekka's quest for some cannon fodder though. Nice. After swinging around the jungle for a bit longer, I journeyed back east to begin the Sea of Sands quest. I spoke to Moorland and had a surprisingly easy time collecting all the Rebreather parts. With everything but some Purgewater defense, we dove straight into Las Vegas to face the Tigerripper. Utilizing some previously purchased Fireclaw Stew, an abhorrent amount of traps, and the Shock Bolt Blaster Siri so eagerly selected for me, the Tigerripper went down without a hitch. With a second subordinate function crossed off our shopping list, the only thing standing between us and San Francisco are Demeter and the Metal Bat Guardian. With another opportunity to detour, I left the greenhouse for later and joined up with some Tanakh the Racers to race my way into earning Karja's Bane, our first legendary of the Nuzlocke. With this, we achieved level 24 and continued with the detour, going on to purchase a Sharpshot bow from a settlement I forgot even existed, and opening the arena for access to the Prize Master. And the rules for this Nuzlocke, you can trade with the Prize Master for 1 hunting metal weapon, 1 arena metal weapon, and 1 arena metal outfit, with each of these trades offering the possibility for extraordinary gear. For now, I stuck to just getting a hunting metal weapon, and Siri blessed me with the excellent Glow Blast Spike Thrower.
I've been wanting a spike thrower for so long.
Wrapping up the detour, I fished for some shards in order to afford some of the gear Siri previously selected for me that I left behind, the most notable being the Utara Hardweave from Lowlands Path. Despite not being my first choice, it was the only outfit Siri picked so far that had solid defensive stats for every upcoming fight, meaning we could finally retire our likely very smelly Utara Harvester for a massive upgrade. But I decided to save it along with our other new gear because I didn't want to risk the good stuff in our fight against the Dreadwing. Getting back on track and pushing through the greenhouse, Alva and I approached the Dreadwing's nest where things were about to get dicey. Literally everything that could go wrong with this fight did. I completely wasted my Valor Surge at the start due to some poorly timed attacks. The traps I set up were useless because the Dreadwing ended up destroying them, and I didn't have any shock for its canisters nor a respectable damage output, making the fight way harder. However, despite the extra difficulty, we managed to barely come out on top with some serious focus and a mid-fight plan B. That was unnecessarily difficult. Holy fudge. A new intensity emerged following what could have been our third death. It was a reminder that we were inching ever closer towards an end. Successful or unsuccessful. However, I still had plenty to go. The Burning Shores, Tilda, Regala, and Thebes. Our next destination. Located in the ruins of San Francisco, Thebes is home to the Master Override and of a fierce beast. One that's tougher than anything we've faced before now. Unfortunately for me, Missouri level camp was not feeling very generous and did not provide me with much leeway to work with. Luckily for me, I'd already been collecting all the ornaments necessary for Ancestor's return, and with San Francisco access, I was finally able to claim our second legendary of the Nuzlocke. But I wasn't finished yet, as there were 2 other weapons I could collect without gaining any XP. The Lightning Shredder Gauntlet at Legacy's Landfall, and the Wings of the Ten Blast Sling. Earned by trading in every black box, it became our 3rd legendary of the attempt.
Let's go.
After performing a few upgrades on my pouches and the new outfit I finally decided to wear, it was time to approach Thebes and face off against friend and foe.
There's a killer machine about.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
What? Why are we? Bro.
The machine will kill you!
There you are. We're doing this.
Tried doing the thing, but I missed it. Okay, bro, my hands are actually the greasiest things right now. Why the fudge am I sweating so much? It's not that serious. Why boys? I did not slide properly, but it's fine. Okay, I'll start fine.
I can keep going.
Holy fucking moly, I almost got scammed. What the fudge was that? Oh my gosh. Holy fudging, fudging, fudging! Oh! Oh! Nice. And I got a Thunderjaw circulator. Bro. I almost died on the inside. I got my health disappeared. Thanks to Ancestor's return and the unlikely hero that I didn't appreciate until now, our path into Thebes was now clear and deathless. Before heading into the bunker, I went to do some fish farming in order to afford the Plasma Sharpshot Bow into our roster. An exceptional weapon that's made even more exceptional because it uses green shine to upgrade. And I also purchased the Utaro Gravesinger Siri had picked in Legacy's Landfall, which finally meant I had an outfit with great Purge Water defense. Man, I can't wait for this to come in handy the next time I fight a Purge Water machine. Anyways, with our new gear in hand, it was time to enter Thebes, and it turns out, under the rules of this challenge, and also because Sobek's raiment is apparently flex glued on the Aloy skeleton, dying here just ends the run. Fortunately, I never recognized how dangerous Thebes actually was, and because of this, mostly kept my cool as I escaped the collapsing grave into a new wave of hardships. Yeah, I don't know about hardships. Contrary to the name I bestowed upon this chapter, our time here was going to be quite the breeze, and it absolutely had everything to do with my equipment. The decisions I would make in the next 3 hours preparing for Gemini were about to change the entire dynamic of the endgame. With a level cap of 30 and the end within our grasp, we began the third time I did the riskiest Forbidden West grind I've ever grinded. Beautiful.
Come on, come on!
Big boy. Yeah. It's magnificent. This was it. The home stretch. The last few steps before the burning shores start now. When we began, the Elite 3 were slated to be the greatest challenge in the base game. But after clawing our way back from nothing with some of the worst defense and damage the West has ever seen, there was a sense of defiance in the air. From incredible weapons to the best resistances an Aloy could ask for, Ciri had changed the course of the run, and now it was on me to bring it home. And then I accidentally cheated and never realized. Utilizing Break Shot and most definitely the Plasma Sharpshot Bow, the staggers and component destruction caused by this duo made the first 3 fights of Gemini a cakewalk. And I already know that some Jitass is gonna be like,
Wouldn't Focus Shot be considerably better for ammo consumption on top of damage?
and yes, it would've. Sometimes it just gotta explode. Our kill squad entering the final battle of Gemini against Spiny Jr. was incredibly powerful. And even though I don't want to admit it,
Siri kinda cooked up for this one. With the Lightning Shredder Gauntlet bringing up the rear for a pivot, the Thorn Martian Corrosive Blastling to deny the Spiny strongest attacks, the Chilling Secret Hunter Bow to give Buddy Boy a nasty cold, and our maxed out Plasma Sharpshot Bow ready to deal insane amounts of damage, this poor soul had as much of a chance of winning as a weed does against a shotgun.
Ready?
For my survival, I bore the maxed out Utaro Hardweave, which holds the record for most times an outfit has saved my life during a run, and our pal the Warrior Bow. Even though its combat potential has been surpassed by many, it now serves as a good luck charm for moments when I feel nervous. And yeah, we crushed this fight. Though my own plague of poor gameplay did worsen the heart palpitations for a moment, but after easily consuming a large dose of the Great Beam of Death, those worries fluttered away with the Elite 3's last chance to break our momentum. Holy fudging moly, it's dead! Following our triumphant run through the confines of Gemini, unlike some people, we wasted no time preparing for the next Elite 3 member and took to the skies after them. Now, Regala is pretty freaking scary. Regardless of what distance you put between the two of you, one or two mistakes can end the fight in an instant. But we've had plenty of practice in previous challenge runs, so as long as I...
Yeah, we are absolutely cooked, chat. GG.
For phase 1, brace shot from a resonant Plasma Sharpshot Bow in tandem with heavy melee combos from the spear kept Regala tumbling. I even got to mix in the Warrior Bow with some of these combos. In phase 2, direct hits from the Glowblast Spike Thrower and acidic balls delivered by the Corrosive Blastling obliterated Regala's HP pool and ignored whatever cover she used. To deal with Regala's third and final phase, Acid Bombs and Terror Blast Arrows allowed for an easy helmet pop, while Spike Traps helped me keep my distance while dealing massive damage. With the right spacing and a performance that would make a Stormtrooper seem closer to a sharpshooter, oh my gosh, Regala was taken down by an off-screen explosion. At this point, I pretty much have everything a Horizon player wants going into the final battle. So why wouldn't I just charge straight into Zenith Island? Well, because Regala's Wrath, our newest addition to the team, has the potential to double our damage. The only caveat being that the upgrade costs are freaking ass. Coincidentally, I already collected most of what we needed for the upgrades and had more than enough shards to circumvent any fish farming. Though, for the things we did still need, there was plenty of danger involved. So, with a hint of care and a few shots of adrenaline, we scrapped 2 Frostclaws, 1 Scorcher, a single Thunderjaw, and faced off against not 1, not 2, not 3... Wait, I totally miscounted. Well, we maxed the bow. Nice. Now, we still had yet to reach the level cap of 35, so we set off to finish the rest of Doer's quests, yielding us an Apex Thunderjaw Heart and the Vindicator Spike Thrower. 2 things that'll come in handy later. A few additional quests on top of that, and the time had come for us to lay siege to Zenith Island. Which we began by using a speedrun skip. Woo! And we're in, baby! It's a cool glitch, okay? Eric was up first, and oh boy, was he an absolute joke. Just like against Regala, I popped his helmet with a combination of acid and Terror Blast, before taking him down with a mere 3 arrows. There's a reason he didn't make it into the Elite 3.
Why are we still here?
Now, with everything else out of the way, all that was left for us to do was take down Tilda. There's no waiting. Can't let everything go to waste.
Ask yourself why you're holding back.
It's time for death, woman.
I better scan that thing first.
Already got hit. Fantastic. Fantastic job, me.
Execute attack pattern Sigma.
There, machine's vulnerable.
$3,400.
This Spectre was designed to survive against more than that.
That's quite big.
Wait. Wait. What the fuck just happened? Wait. She's fucking dead. Even though that could have been a bit more climactic, a win is a win, and with the final Elite 3 member down, we open the doors into the final chapter of our story.
Before heading out to the Burning Shores, I wanted to address our new level cap of 38 by completing a few rebel camps. Nothing too significant happened during this time, except I did find myself another Luminous Brainstem encounter and maxed out Chain Burst for several upcoming fights. After getting our final bout of experience at Devil's Grasp and putting our level concerningly close to the limit, we flew off towards the new frontier. Now, the start of the Burning Shores is quite dangerous.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
You cannot return to the mainland before defeating both the Bilegut and Launder's drone. Plus, due to a serious lack of merchants and my inability to reload from save, it was imperative that we were fully prepared before our departure. Fortunately, prepared is something we've been since before the Burning Shores. With a little Chain Burst here, as well as some Regala's Wrath over there, it seemed that this DLC was on the same track as the Elite 3.
Chain Burst, baby!
I think the only thing that would really screw us up here is if I took a 2-month break. Between the many things I decided to pile on top of myself and cranking out 800 hours of Baldur's Gate 3, I put off completing the Burning Shores for a considerable amount of time. Now, what does a 2-month break from a Forbidden West Nuzlocke do to a man? Well, for one, I no longer had the everlasting memories of my failures acting as both a motivator and an anxiety generator. And the other issue, well, I'm rusty as crap. So in what is the equivalent of putting a toddler to the test operating heavy machinery in the center of Times Square, I was cooked. And despite Siri's best efforts to keep this run's very dead momentum going by giving me both the tie that binds and the Nora Lookout as my Burning Shores gear, I needed a wake-up call to bring me back into the fight. And in a folly of my own creation, I lost the Utaro Hardweave, the Plasma Sharpshot Bow, the Glowblast Spike Thrower, the Seeker Hunter Bow, Regala's Wrath, the Tie That Binds, which I just gone, and Q's Sharpshot Bow. All champions lost in the blink of an eye. Oh, and did I mention that past me didn't actually realize that the Bilegut fight and Launder's Tower were both part of the same level cap? Yeah. So in essence, I literally had no other choice but to try again.
A skill issue.
So, with a gear set that doesn't exactly scream endgame to me, we took the fight back to the Bilegut to avenge our fallen allies and to reclaim our chances at completing this Nuzlocke.
What do you think I'm trying to do, Seika? Nice.
That was not easy.
Yeah. Good fight.
I'm so mentally drained after that. That was rough. That was really rough. Yikes. What is this? Oh, that's an explosive canister! Unfortunately, our win signaled not for celebration, but for the need to address the elephant in the room. How were we going to replace all the gear members I lost? While the outfit we currently donned was great for the time being, the performance I illustrated with my current weaponry, despite being more than powerful enough to get us to the Bilegut fight, was not something I wanted to endure again. There was also the issue that we no longer had a reliable source of plasma defense. The Tanakh Marshal just isn't going to cut it for taking on future threats. And due to my extensive usage of the Merchants of the West, there wasn't a whole lot of gear still left on the storefront. But that's when I got the idea to take on the arena. If you've done the Dome's challenges, they certainly aren't easy, but thanks to the fact that you can't die and don't earn any experience, the arena was a once-in-a-playthrough opportunity to earn an excellent weapon alongside a 1 in 3 chance for Siri to pick an equally excellent plasma outfit. Plus, it was a great place for me to repolish my skills and test out some new ideas for upcoming encounters. But we still had some business to deal with before we could leave the Burning Shores. So following a swift explosion of Launder's mental nuisance, we reopened our access to the mainland. With a nice level cap of 41, we took a detour to max out our current outfit consequently making all Ravagers go extinct, and giving us a use for Daenerys' Apex Thunderjaw Heart. But finally, as reasonably prepared for the arena as we could be, it was time to show the Tenakth just what we were made of. Oh. Okay, buddy. Alright, reload. Nice. Okay. Nice. Once I earned enough medals for a weapon, I took a break from the challenges and headed to the prize master for Ciri to make her pick. Ciri, pick a number 1 through 3.
The answer is 3.
I'm so done with you. Why?
There it is. I got the fudging bull blaster.
Of course, Ciri picks another bolt blaster. Yet, despite my reluctance to receive the blast forge, it was no mere bolt blaster. It was a killer. And that killer proved itself worthy by shredding machine after machine after machine in the arena. But you know what else is a killer? These arena challenges to my wallet. So we unfortunately had to take a temporary break from fighting and roleplay as a shark. In the end, our time battling taught me some new strategies. And I'm gonna be honest, it got me pretty excited to see what we could cook up for these next fights. But even with this experience, I'm not the best battler. Which is why, after we completed the final arena challenge of this Nuzlocke, I was hoping that Ciri would see eye to eye with me and pick the one outfit that would truly keep this run alive. Alright, Ciri, pick a number 1 through 3.
The answer is 1.
Well, at least it was interesting. This did not bode well for our survival. Literally every quest ahead of us features some form of plasma, and we had just exhausted the last of our chances to get exactly that. So, what now? Well, it was time for us to consider a last resort. To reach into the bowels of our journal and complete a quest no Aloy should be subjected to. The Splinter Within. This quest rewards you with a legendary outfit that's got the plasma defense we're in desperate need of. Now for the most part, the Splinter Within is pretty straightforward. You battle some Ravagers, touch a butt, and learn about a secret murder plot. Except for the fact that it's the only quest I know of which features these guys. If you don't know who these lads are, they're like Sunwings, but much worse. Now I don't like Sunwings, but I've got a good amount of experience dealing with their shenanigans. I also don't like Water Wings, but unlike Sunwings, I have approximately one single fight of experience under my belt with them. So in other words, I was freaking cooked. How the actual potato sack was I going to first try an enemy I barely have any knowledge against, let alone 3? Fortunately for me, there's an arena challenge where I can practice exactly this. But I didn't do that. Instead, I took a 4-day break and headed straight into battle. I have no quarrels with myself. Holy fuck, that's a lot. Frost damage I'm gonna need to deal. That was a dangerous attack. I'm going. It's dead. It's freaking dead. Okay, I don't think there's gonna be a fight that compares to that, I'll be honest with you. Holy fudging moly. Somehow, some way, we had just triumphed against the Water Ring trio. To this day, I have no idea what devious concoction my brain was cooking up. But whatever the case, those were the first and last Water Rings I need to worry about. If you're wondering how I fared against the Ravagers, well, I just found a cheeky little angle to utilize against them and chat on their entire existence. But finally, after completing the insane trial I literally dolphin dived into, I couldn't turn in the quest because I was going to overlevel. Fortunately, the next main quest isn't too terrible. After several preparations consisting of a drip update, a face paint swap, some pouch upgrades, a refreshing dive, and several new coils for our equipment, we set off towards Launcher's facility. There, we abused ballistas, dodged some fireballs, then abused the presence of ballistas some more. For our efforts, we obtained Sky Hammer, a blasting that'll prove phenomenal against all things flammable, frostable, and purgeable. And following a swift demonstration to establish what was expected of our new team member, we finally returned to someone I never mentioned named Fiola, who bestowed upon us what would be our bastion of hope in the coming nightmare. Quen Deadeye. 30 plasma resist. It's beautiful. Our new uniform and cap of level being at 44 means we're ready for another round of experience. Kicking things off by buying some Curd of the Ancestors. Curd of the Ancestors. That is something I can get behind. We began what would have been another extensive farming session if the Burning Shores gear wasn't so comedically cheap to upgrade. But we still had some work to do. Ever since I lost both Regala's Wrath and the Plasma Sharpshooter bow back against the Bilegut, we haven't had a weapon that could confidently handle the role of hard hitter. Our closest contender was the Blast Forge, but thanks to me losing every single good coil the West has to offer and its atrocious upgrade costs, we couldn't do much to improve it. That's why I turned to a weapon that was finally going to get a chance to shine. And that is a maxed out Vindicator Spectre. Really nice, actually. Some of you may be wondering why I didn't choose to use the Last Argument or Sky Killer. And well, one was too expensive, and I forgot the other one even existed. Feeling prepared for almost anything, I decided to continue the main quest with Seika to find her missing people. So long as I was careful around the Bileguts and brought the proper gear into this fight, there should be no problems. We're gonna hope that Seika cooperates and that I don't have to fight the Bileguts. I think I can just run away and shoot daggers from them, but... Game. Game. Why are you not letting me pull out my glider? Game. 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 Game, I'm dead. This is a problem, game. I'm no longer alive. Game. We can't win them all, right? Fortunately for us, death number 4 wasn't as bad as it could have been, thanks to my decision to swap into some of our more expendable gear just before. Unfortunately for us, losing the +5 Nora Lookout just put our Nuzlocke in jeopardy. Without it, we no longer had a good backup outfit in case things go awry, making every fight twice as risky. As for the other team members, both the Corrosive Blastling and Cleaving Sharpshot Bow lost their lives here, 2 weapons that have played key roles in winning countless battles. We needed to make sure this doesn't happen again. Which is exactly why we entered Zeth's arena with the completely wrong Valor Surge, absolutely no shock, come on, let's not pretend the Perimeter Tripcaster is actually going to kill anything, and proceeded to die in a 3 versus 1 against Seika, Zeth, and the environment. But this was a good thing. Not because I discovered that shield wires are actually good, and certainly not because we lost even more of our team members. It was good because this 5th death pissed me off. I was already irritated at the very stupid events that took place because Forbidden West is the best game ever made, and now, Zeth over here comes to ruin my day again. No, Zeth. You don't just get to ruin my day and get away with it. So how about this? I'm gonna take your life. Frick you, buddy.
And then following the end of your miserable existence, giving me a level cap of 47, yes. I'm gonna go brighten my day by visiting Gildan. Then, I'm gonna get myself a Ropecaster, alongside some fantastic 15% crit hit chance coils. Have my day ruined an additional time by forcing myself to witness an abomination of a machine, and follow up that disappointment by re-brightening my day once more with the Sunshot Hunter bow. Oh, he's dead. And that's exactly what we did. Except Siri ruined my day once more because she wasted our traveling peddler purchase on a warrior bow.
It's negative 4,444.
You heard her that, I don't, okay. Thanks, mate. And now,
The time had finally come for us to face the greatest threat the Burning Shores has to offer. The question is, are we ready? You would think with so much on the line that I would be nervous. And you'd almost be correct. We have been through a lot to get here. We've lost allies who have suffered from my own stupid mistakes, and crawled through seemingly impossible situations with almost nothing. We've used strategies, new and old, faced down Nuzlocke ending situations with everything we have, and done our damnedest to do the best we could with what Siri gave us. Yet despite everything we've experienced, I was in fact still nervous. Maybe it was the 2 months we were away from the game. Maybe it was how losing here would likely end the run. Or maybe it just felt like I was entering Cauldron Gemini all over again. But quite frankly, I had no reason to be. Ever since our first death, I've had one specific enemy on my mind, and it was our resident nightmare. For 3 months, I've had the opportunity to plot and calculate every single thing that could happen in this fight. I've considered which weapons to use, which attacks to be most aware of, and which sections of the arena I would use to kite the beast. And in a twisting of our own fate, my greatest fear had become the one thing we were most ready to face. With the Vindicator Spike Thrower obtained from Dinner as a Power Shot's heavy hitter, Ancestor's Return given to us by Stemmer, ready to deliver same-day acid, Skyhammer recycled from the Quen, set to handle all things hydrogen-related, Wings of the Ten traded to us by Untala, ripe for exploding, the Blast Forge awarded to us for our efforts in the arena, primed to shred, the Anchor Roadcaster purchased in Saltbite up for binding, and the Quen Deadeye outfit handed to us by Theoa keeping this run alive, we turned to face the Apex Slaughter Spine, determined to be the last thing it would ever see.
Just to make sure the potion effects last, but this is it.
Okay, pain's easing.
Let's do this.
Give me the upper hand here. Detonated. Come on, machine! Focus on us!
Let's do this. Okay, we're good.
It's gonna be okay, Tina!
Holy fudge, I ate that. Nice! Come on, Seika. Roadcast that thing.
No machine's hurting my sister!
Holy fudging moly! That was terrifying. And just like that, the Slaughter Spine got exploded on. Kabloom, you know, kabloomy. Put a Nico. Put an explosion right here. Ready? 3, 2, 1, boom! Haha, you thought, because I'm gonna give you 3 big booms! Boom! 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 Okay, I don't actually know if I'm gonna put that on the video. If I did, I'm so sorry. Your ears are probably dying right now. But anyways, as we leave behind what was once a nightmarishly, oh my gosh, nightmarishly, like, oh my gosh, I'm fudging,
As we leave behind what was once a nightmarishly oversized plasma canister, our list of things to obliterate shrinks down to 1. Walter Laundra. I would go into detail of what we do next, but you know the drill by now. New level cap, I do stuff to reach new level cap. I want optimal weapon, I collect resources to max out optimal weapon. Although this time, I decided it was a good idea to put on the most atrocious looking dye known to mankind, and I apologize for that. Heading into the fray, for the first time since the DLC, I actually take a stealthier approach to the horse. Did I do it successfully? Well, that depends on what you define as successful.
Oh my gosh, you saw me?
With the clamber jaws taken down and the horse's thermostat turned to 477.594 degrees Kelvin, we were potentially moments away from finishing this challenge run. So, for all the weapons who got me here, and I guess for Series 2, it was about time for us to clap some horse cheeks and end this hardcore Nuzlocke once and for all.
We can't let it reach open water. I got it! Last one's down. You're nothing but a walking... Help! Miss me!
Nice.
The arms! Incoming!
Nice. Hit it! Nice! Holy fudging moly.
The last one!
Yes! 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 This spike door is so freaking good. I love it so fudging much. Holy fudging moly.
But I outflew it.
Whoa. This is it.
I'm almost done. Stand by. Don't like that, do ya? Need another way to drain its power.
Oh my gosh. Noted. One more. Come on, Landra. Hit me one last time. No, you! Yes!
Box down. That's my speaker. Gotta shut this
Ah,
box
for you. The wrong button. Kill him! Kill him! Yes! And as the greatest snack a Glinthawk can ask for flops its last flop, I'd like to thank you all for watching my attempt at a hardcore Nuzlocke of Horizon Forbidden West, which we managed to do in a grand total of 5 deaths. This playthrough was a very unique experience that I had an absolute blast with. I would gladly do this again on another set of rules or whatever needs to make this different enough for me to make another video on it. What I won't do again is take an entire year to edit a video. Those people who voted fudging 2 years on that one poll that I put up literally almost were correct. On a separate note, thank you all so much for getting the channel to 500 subscribers. I am very, very excited to continue doing more questionable challenge runs and have way too many ideas in the backlogs. We'll get to them eventually. Anyways, I won't take up much more of your time, but if you'd like to give this challenge run a shot on your own, I put a Google Doc and I put a Google Doc of the rules and a Google Sheet of all the merchants in the description. 07 to all of our fallen comrades who got me here, and here are some stats, because stats are cool. Once again, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this, and I wish you all the very best. Peace. Oh, now here are some random clips I couldn't find where to put in the video that I found funny, and yeah. Oh, would literally get married, and then she picks the divorce papers. Never mind.